Okay, great. So, hi everybody, and Sam, thank you for that great introduction. So, again, my name is Cheryl, and my role at the university is I work within the International Enrollment Office, and essentially what that means is I do a lot of this. So I connect with students in person, I connect with them virtually, and my specific role is really to share a lot about the Ryerson ESL Foundation program. So what is the ESL Foundation program? So this program is a pathway to undergraduate studies at Ryerson University for students that are academically qualified and competitive for admission. They just haven't yet reached the minimum English language proficiency score that we are looking for. So just some key things about this program. So students are guaranteed to earn 1 and possibly up to 3 undergraduate degree credits throughout the ESL Foundation program. The curriculum combines English for academic purposes, combined with university course work, and you are still considered a full-time Ryerson student. So you are studying in the heart of downtown Toronto, and you are studying in a state-of-the-art, beautiful modern facility called the Real Institute. So a little bit about how the program is delivered. So depending on what your English language test score is, that will determine how long you spend in the program and when you can start. So there's 3 options for entry and duration. So to give you an example, let's say your IELTS score is 5.5. You would be applying to the 2-semester program, and you would be able to join that program in the winter, being the beginning of January, or the fall semester, of course, being September. So it is important to note that the ESL Foundation program, you still do have to have a minimum English language test score. In terms of curriculum for the program, so students can expect to be in class from Monday to Friday, so anywhere from about 20 to 30 hours per week. And then in addition to that, they're going to have up to 10 hours of independent work and also group-based project work. And there are 4 modules per semester delivered through different themes. So some examples of the themes that our ESL students have studied and experienced in past terms have been things like arts and culture, science, business ethics, and new media. And in terms of what the program class schedule actually includes, so things like academic reading and writing, communication and strategies workshops. So as I was saying at the beginning of the presentation, students have the opportunity to earn at least 1 undergraduate degree credit course. And then for students who are doing quite well, so improving quite quickly in the program, they have the opportunity to be enrolled in 2 more degree credit courses. And the opportunity there, again, for students is that you are getting a little bit head start on your undergraduate degree courses. These courses that you would be enrolled in are considered lower level liberal studies courses. So things like marketing, economics, biology that you can then use for credit in your first year. So you are a little bit ahead. You're going to be taking courses with full-time undergraduate Ryerson students as well. So in keeping with the theme of experiential learning, so of course, what Ryerson really excels at, so, taking what students are learning in the classroom, applying it to the real world. So each theme that I was mentioning earlier, so things like new media or business and ethics, is complemented by an experiential learning workshop. So past sessions include, just to give you an example, so we take our students on cultural excursions, so places like the ROM or the Art Gallery of Ontario. And then we also invite other departments from around the university to come into the Real Institute and deliver instruction and fun workshops as well. So a great example of that would be reps from the Digital Media Experience Lab came in and delivered a really fun interactive workshop on how to do 3D printing, and ESL students were actually able to print a 3D object, which is really cool. So further benefits to our, to our ESL students. So, of course, we want to support the whole entire student, and mentorship, is really important. So, transition from high school to university can be really challenging, and we recognize that. So the ESL Foundation program has some peer mentors or peer supporters. So these are ESL students that have graduated from the program and are now in an undergraduate program. And it is their role to really mentor ESL students, to address any concerns that they have. It is their role to connect that ESL student to the larger Ryerson community, perhaps, connecting them to international student services that you're going to hear about a little bit later, and really just giving them a safe space to talk about challenges and ensure that they are successful in their program. One program event that I want to highlight, it's personally a highlight for me with our ESL students, is every year the program kind of culminates with a student showcase that we call Making Connections. And this is where ESL students get to really showcase how far they've come in the program. So essentially, this is a project that they work on from the beginning of the program, and it is based off of a theme. So all those themes I've been mentioning, a perfect example is here is a photograph from the most recent student showcase that was delivered in the Student Learning Center. And that's also so they can interact with the larger Ryerson community too. So the photo is a group of students who presented a project on marketing and consumerism. So to get into the details of the program, so how much does the ESL Foundation program cost? So of course it depends on the length of the program. So the tuition range is about $23,000 to $39,000 for up to 3 semesters. Keep in mind what that tuition includes is pre-arrival information, ESL workshops, that includes up to 3 undergraduate degree credit courses, all the textbooks for the program, advising, career and academic advising. It does include health insurance as well, and then access to all of Ryerson's support services, and also those academic and cultural excursions that I was mentioning earlier. In terms of how to apply to the ESL Foundation program, so all that information can be found on the website, but what I want to highlight to you in this presentation, the time I have, is students would still be applying through the OUAC, so the Ontario University Application Center, and they're gonna, when they select Ryerson, the program code is SFP, excuse me. And then there will be a drop-down menu where you are able to choose the subject of major interest. So that is the undergraduate program that you want to be enrolled in once you successfully complete the ESL Foundation program. So you probably already know that at Ryerson we have grades only and grades plus programs. So grades only being those programs where students are based, given admission purely based off of academic achievement. And then our grades plus program where we are looking at academic achievement plus something like a portfolio or an essay or an interview. So if you're an applicant to the ESL Foundation program, you're going to want to do 2 standalone applications. So one to SFP, and then you're going to select a Ryerson grades only program as well. You're also going to want to select the expected date enrollment. That of course depends on the English language proficiency score that you are submitting. So that is, that's it for me for the ESL Foundation program. Some ways to keep in contact with us after this presentation today. So if you have any questions, you can write to international@ryerson.ca, where the international enrollment team is monitoring that inbox. Ryerson has its own virtual tour, but also the ESL Foundation program has a virtual tour as well. So you can actually explore the Real Institute that I was mentioning, which is a really cool kind of cutting edge space. And then the social media accounts for the ESL Foundation program and the Real Institute. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So that's it from me, and I am going to hand this presentation over now to Kirsten from the International University Foundation program.
Thanks so much, Cheryl. Hi, everyone. My name is Kirsten. I coordinate the International University Foundation program, better known as the IUFP. Next slide, please. Cheryl, next slide, please. Thank you. So just to start off, university is obviously a very exciting experience. It's an opportunity to make new friends, learn, obviously, explore a new city, become independent, and even give you an opportunity to discover or reinvent yourself. That being said, it also comes with its challenges. So next slide, please. So with all of these new adventures, obviously there are different things that come up. So there are certain challenges. Sometimes once you go to university, you're not sure where to get academic support or even how to ask for that support. Especially for international students, coming to a new country can be challenging. You might be, distance from your family or your loved ones. So dealing with that is also a challenge. Getting a job, taking care of yourself, and really just maintaining your health and your well-being, whether that be physical health, mental health, emotional health, and all of that. Next slide, please. Okay, so the IUFP, what is the IUFP? So what it is a new program that was launched in actually 2017 and is an 8-month foundation program for international students. The main two, facets of the program are its academic readiness support as well as one-on-one advising and support. So within the program, we have an academic support facilitator who's dedicated to the needs of students and helping them kind of guide them through university and what that means with your learning strategies, how you approach doing assignments and all of that. In addition to that, we have peer mentors who, similar to the ESL Foundation program, students who are currently in their undergraduate programs who have actually passed through the IUFP. So they know exactly what the students are dealing with. They can really empathize with that student's experience and guide them through the program, as well as appointments with myself, who's a program coordinator. Something I'd like to highlight about the IUFP is its focus on holistic support and experience. So we realize that university, although it is primarily about learning, about academics, there are other facets to it. Your social life is always important. Being able to connect with the community, being familiar with what's going on around you, and just having those support systems around you, we recognize the importance of that. So we try to make sure that those parts are all integrated into the experience at the IUFP. Next slide, please. So our main goals, as I mentioned earlier, are to strengthen your academic foundations and skills primarily, but also to help you be successful by getting you connected to social supports, to communities. Our program is fairly small, so if you are in the group, you will have that opportunity to just get to know everyone in the group, and you kind of go into your first year having a sort of family or a support system, which I think most of our students find to be one of the most helpful parts of the program. Additionally, we do show you different resources on campus so that once you actually get into your program, you're aware of what's available to you. Speaking for myself, I honestly did not know half of the supports that were available to me when I was in my undergrad program, and I only learned about them in like the third year. Which is not super helpful. So this really gives you a head start and makes you aware of what's available. So as soon as you get into your first year, you're already prepared. You know what's available. You know how to access those supports. Next slide, please. So you might be wondering, who is this program for? So this program is for students whose grades are close to admissions criteria for your chosen program of study. They might not meet those criteria exactly, but they might just slightly fall short. Another reason you might be interested in this program is if you do not have the necessary high school credentials for the program you're interested in. So it might be a math course or a science course. A lot of the time when you're in high school, you might not know exactly what you want to pursue in university. So this can really help with that, where you can actually get that second opportunity to decide what courses you need and fit them towards your program. And then also, even if you meet all of the requirements, you might not feel prepared for university. University can sometimes be quite a leap from high school. So what we try to do at the IUFP is to really ease that transition and make it less of a leap and more of kind of a gradual step into university. Another thing is that for our program, which kind of distinguishes us from the ESL Foundation program, you do need to meet Ryerson's English proficiency requirements. So our target is not on building that English language proficiency, but rather at building other academics foundations and social foundations that will prepare you for university. Next slide, please. So what are the benefits of this program? The main benefits, and I think there are other benefits as well, but the main benefits are you do get guaranteed admission into your program of choice. So I will get into what programs that covers in just after this, but you do get guaranteed admission into that program with successful completion of the IUFP. You have the opportunity to earn at least 4 undergraduate degree credits, and that could be up to 6 credits as well if you do opt into the spring summer semester. There's a wide range of extracurricular opportunities that complement your studies. So like I said, we do focus on not only the academic side of university, but also what it means to be a student, what it means to be connected to the Ryerson campus and the Ryerson community. Also, something that I think a lot of students appreciate is the individualized academic and career advising throughout your time at Ryerson. Because the program is fairly small, we do have that capacity to speak to students one-on-one, to really pay attention to each student and give them that individualized support. Next slide, please. So these are some of the programs that you can stream into should you choose to go through the IUFP. So it's basically all grades only programs. Our exceptions are grades plus programs and engineering programs. So pretty much everything you see here on your screen, we do stream into. You can be given guaranteed acceptance into all of these programs and some more as well. Next slide, please. So just for you to have kind of a quick look at what the semesters will look like once you're enrolled in the program. So each semester you will take 2 degree credit courses, as well as 2 non-degree credit courses. So what those are just basically an opportunity for you to really hone the skills that you're gaining in the degree credit courses. So it gives you an opportunity to practice, to really put that knowledge to use. Maybe if you have group projects, you work together. So it gives you a little bit extra support here with your degree credit courses. So it doesn't feel like they're kind of being thrown at you without, that extra support. And like I mentioned earlier, in the spring summer semester, you can take up to 2 additional degree credit courses. And that just really gives you that head start. So once you go into university, you can have up to 6 degree credit courses already complete. So you're not really missing out, and you're using your time very wisely while you're in the program. Next slide, please. So I'm not going to read through this testimonial, but just to give you kind of a better sense of what students get from this program. For example, a lot of students that I've spoken to after they've transitioned have said to me that they feel so much more confident in their choices and the way that they're tackling their academics than they would have been if they went straight into their undergrad. It helps students sort of find their niche. So they might not know, they might not be 100% sure what they're interested, what they like, until they actually start taking courses. So this gives them that time to really decide and figure out themselves, figure out what they like, and just get the motivation that they need to give their all into their university career. And it also helps them to really integrate academically and socially into Ryerson and into the broader community. Next slide, please. So I spoke a little bit about this before, but IUFP does offer a wide range of extracurricular opportunities. So we have our own set of our own schedule for orientation week, which goes alongside Ryerson's central orientation. We have a guest lecture series on student life and experience, as well as academic skills. So it could be every week or every couple of weeks, we'll bring in a speaker from a different department at Ryerson to come and speak to the students about, or deliver a workshop on, it could be, what is plagiarism? What is academic integrity? What does consent mean in social life? So it is a wide range of supports and workshops that cater to the student experience. So like I said, not just academics, but the entire holistic experience of students. We do a bunch of fun social and cultural events, holiday and end of term celebrations, and we do try to connect students to Ryerson groups so that they know what's available to them once they start their program. Next slide, please. So these are just some pictures of some, fun events that we've done. We've done sporting events, we've done dinners, we've done escape room challenges. There's a lot to gain on both sides of the academics and social. Next slide, please. So once again, alongside these other activities, we do have co-curricular activities. So what that means is they are more academic in nature, also just to give students that opportunity to hone the skills that they're gaining from their degree credit courses, their support classes, and really learn the strategies that they need to be successful in university. And I actually had a student tell me recently, there are certain courses that I took in the IUFP that really set the foundation for the rest of my undergrad program, because I didn't realize the importance of certain skills that I learned. And once I went into my first year, I actually had a head start. While maybe other students weren't completely there yet, I felt like I was prepared to really succeed within my program. So Learning Lab is a weekly 1-hour session that's facilitated by our academic support facilitator, as well as our peer mentor. And that is really like a facilitated study hall session where you ask questions, you work on certain skills, and you just bring up anything that's maybe you're struggling with or you're finding to be a challenge. Like I mentioned earlier, the student success lecture, it could be a social activity for that week, or it could be a workshop delivered by someone else at Ryerson or someone even outside of the university. Next slide, please. Thank you. So how to apply. So similar to the ESL Foundation program, you would apply on you would find a lot of information about this on the How to Apply page at Ryerson. Something to note is that when you select IUFP, you also must select your subject of major interest. And what that is, it's just the program that you want to pursue once you complete the IUFP. So just to note, this should be a 4-year full-time program. But once you select that, that is your goal. That is where you want to go. That is what you want guaranteed admission into once you complete the IUFP. Next slide, please. So you will be required to submit your documents. I would say for guaranteed consideration, you should be submitting your documentation and application by June 1st. This is not to say that you won't be considered after this time. It's just that any applications received after this date will be considered subject to space. So try to get those applications in as soon as possible. So next slide, please. So that's pretty much all from me, just to be mindful of time. There are several ways you can contact us. So first of all, you can actually just take a look at our program blog for an overview of the program, what it offers, the structure, all of that will be on the blog. We do have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram that you can check out. You can also email me directly at my personal email or the iufp@ryerson.ca email. And if you have admissions specific questions, so you're wondering what grades would get you considered for this program, what educational system you're coming from and all of that, you can contact iufpinfo@ryerson.ca. That's all from me, but thank you so much for joining us, and I will pass it over to Emma from ISS.
Hi there. My name is Emma and I work at International Student Support, or ISS for short. I'm one of the international student advisors at their office, and I'm really glad to be here today to welcome you and to tell you a bit more about how we support international students and the international community at Ryerson. Next slide, please. So you're just meeting me here today, but I'm just one of the people on our wonderful team. So our office is made up of 5 international student advisors, 1 administrator, and a manager. We also employ about 15 student staff, so too many of them to put on the slide, but we're all here to guide and support you during your time at Ryerson. Right now, we provide assistance to about 4,000 international students from over 120 countries. Next slide, please. I'd like to tell you a bit about some of the programs and events that we offer at ISS. We have a lot of things happening over the year, so these are just a few highlights of some of the things that we do at our office. Next slide, please. So as you may know, international students have a very important responsibility that domestic students don't have when they're studying in Canada, and that is holding and maintaining a valid immigration status. So all of our staff, with the exception of our administrator, are either regulated Canadian immigration consultants or regulated international student immigration advisors, which are big titles, but they just mean that we are licensed immigration professionals who can guide you through applying for your immigration documents. So whether that's a study permit, a temporary resident visa, a co-op work permit, and we can even provide guidance on applying for permanent residence and Canadian citizenship down the road. We offer immigration support in a variety of formats, including workshops, individual appointments, and drop-in hours. So those drop-in hours, we offer them twice a week. So if something came up and you don't want to wait to book an appointment, we're happy to see you immediately and answer your questions as quickly as we can. We recognize that international students have unique needs and may require personalized or specific documents to support their studies in Canada, which is why our office produces all official letters or status letters for international students at Ryerson. Next slide, please. So that last slide was a bit serious, but we do also like to have a lot of fun at ISS. So as I mentioned, we have a team of 15 student staff, and they take the lead in planning events, outings, socials, any kind of thing to help welcome you to Ryerson, help you make new friends, and start to build your own little community away from home. So at our events, as well as meeting professional staff like myself and our student staff, you'll also have the opportunity to connect with upper year international students who can give you advice and tips on everything on which liberal courses they recommend that you take, the best places to eat near campus, and places to explore off campus on the weekend or in your downtime. For those students who are especially interested in expanding their cultural horizon or learning more about different cultures, we recommend joining our Global Links program. So it's not a typo. Global, is a combination of the words global and local. So the program has regular meetups and outings that are led by our student staff, and all participants obtain a certificate upon completion of the program. Next slide, please. So you've heard me talk a lot about our student staff. So Career Boost International is a program available at Ryerson, and it allows different offices to hire international students. So at places like our office at ISS, and other places around campus, maybe in athletics in one of the on-campus gyms, or in the registrar's office doing research or lab work. So all of these types of jobs are available through funding a program called Career Boost International, which is run by the Ryerson Career Center. So that means that each year there are a set number of on-campus job opportunities that are funded and reserved specifically for international students. So these types of jobs provide a great opportunity for you to make some extra money, to make some new friends, and gain really beneficial work experience while you're studying. Of course, we recognize that you are students first and foremost, so all jobs are limited to a maximum of 15 hours per week during the normal school year, so you still have lots of time to concentrate on your studies. I would really recommend that you look into and take advantage of working on campus at some point during your time at Ryerson. A lot of our student staff say that it's one of their most favorite experiences as a student, specifically as an international student, because it exposed them to so many people, departments, and resources that they wouldn't otherwise know about. Next slide, please. So all full-time international students are covered under the University Health Insurance Plan, or UHIP for short. So the health coverage it provides is comparable to provincial health coverage, so the type of health coverage that covers Canadian citizens and permanent residents. Students are able to access a wide range of clinics and doctors, including specialist doctors, with this coverage, and they can go to these clinics or doctors off campus, close to where they live, or they can access healthcare through the Ryerson Medical Center, which is an on-campus clinic and very convenient for students who live nearby or spend a lot of time at school. So our office administers the health insurance plan, which means we print your coverage cards and we provide information sessions throughout the year to help students better understand how their health coverage works and how to access it. Next slide, please. That's it for me. So I'm really glad that I was able to join today and speak to so many of you. If you would like to see what we're up to throughout the next coming months, please follow us on our social media. So on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you can find us at Ryerson ISS. You can also reach us by email at issask, so issask@ryerson.ca. I look forward to meeting a lot of you in the future. So that concludes my part of the presentation, and I will turn it back to Cheryl.
Great. So this brings us to the Q&A session, or the interview session with two of our current international students. So want to introduce you to Salome. So she is an international student born and raised in Barbados. She is in the third year of the Hospitality and Tourism Management Program, and she is a current student ambassador in the Campus Tours Office, and she also works with international enrollment as well. And then there's Teniola. So she is a fourth year student, about to graduate actually, from the Public Health and Safety Program. She is also a current student ambassador. And a fun fact about her is she recently published her first article in Ryerson's newspaper, The Eye Opener. So maybe Salome and Teniola, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
So
yes. Sorry.
okay. So I'm going to be answering you both a series of questions just for you to be able to share what the international student experience is like at Ryerson and in downtown Toronto. So I wonder if you could both talk about, with Salome going first, is when you were deciding where you wanted to study and what you wanted to study, what was important to you, and why did you choose to study at Ryerson?
Yeah, so a big thing for me personally was the location. So my family and I visited Canada, and we actually did a campus tour. So that kind of is what convinced me. I really liked the way that Ryerson is kind of at the center of the city and at the center of everything. There's so much, to do in the city, activities, and like so many things that you can get involved in. So yeah, that's what I personally really liked. And then speaking to my program specifically, if anyone's interested in hospitality and tourism management, I really liked that Ryerson was one of the first universities in Canada to offer hospitality and tourism management as a degree, because it's commonly offered in colleges. But I like that Ryerson kind of has that college hands-on learning aspect to it as well. So that's what I really liked. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
Hi. For me, the thing I really liked about Ryerson, my major reason for choosing it was because of the program. So Ryerson is one of 2 universities in Ontario that offers public health and safety as an undergraduate degree. And for me, that was a big thing. So yeah, it was just majorly because of the program.
Great, thank you. So the next question I have for both of you. So, managing the transition from high school to university can, come with its own set of unique challenges. So I was wondering if you could both talk about, if any, what challenges did you face? And then perhaps what resources did you use on campus to help you with these challenges?
Yeah, so I can go first. Academically, I don't think I faced too many challenges. I feel it's partly because I did IB in high school, so I felt that kind of prepared me academically. But then transitioning from high school to university, obviously it's a very different sort of atmosphere. You're not having classes from all day with the same people every day. You have to kind of time manage, which is like a different aspect in university that I guess I wasn't too ready for, but you get used to. But one thing that really helped me in terms of resources was the International Student Support Office, so ISS, as Emma was talking about. I went to a lot of their events in first year, and I think that really helped me. I met a lot of my friends that I still have today. I met at those events that I went to in first year with the International Student Support Office.
For me, I think the biggest challenge I faced when transitioning was the educational system. So the educational system in Canada is really different from the one back in Nigeria, and just transitioning here and getting used to that was like my major challenge. But then it was a challenge that was quickly resolved, and just getting used to it over time. Like Salome said, the ISS was very helpful in terms of like even like work permits, study permits, jobs, in terms of everything. They were just like a place you could always go to for help. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. So I just have a couple more questions. Again, starting with Salome. So if there was, or what advice would you give to an incoming international student considering studying at Ryerson?
So kind of going back to the resources, I would say the biggest thing is to really take advantage of all the resources that are available to you. Even though, you arrive and you kind of see that there's so many different types of resources, it might be a bit overwhelming at first, but kind of like looking into each of the resources and finding out which ones might help you. I think that's like a big thing. Because I'm really glad now, looking back from my third year, that I decided to put myself out there and go to those events, because I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't. But another thing that I think is being in residence really helps. I think residence is a great way to kind of get immersed into the community, especially as an international student. I moved to Canada on my own, so I didn't really know anyone. And being in residence kind of helped me like meet people already like first day. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
My advice would be, honestly, like Salome said, just using all the resources that are available to you. And like at the end of the day, graduating from Ryerson, not just with your degree, but like with a world of experience, with stuff on your resume, just making the best of the opportunity you have and making an impact in the community. And doing things that you'll be proud of, not just going to school and coming back, like doing so much more with your time, having the opportunity there. Yeah, that would be my advice.
That's great. That's excellent advice. And I actually have one more question for you both, because I'm sure, you know, students would be interested in hearing this. Can you provide an example of what experiential learning looks like in hospitality and tourism management, and then public health and safety?
Okay.
Yeah, so going off of hospitality and tourism management, I think the way that my program kind of shows that experiential learning, one of them is we actually have a required number of work experience hours required to graduate. So everyone has to do a certain number of hours to graduate, and it has to be in the industry. So that's one way that they kind of have that experiential learning, because they also help you find all those internships and things like that. But then also just in class in general, like last semester I had a restaurant operations class where I actually cooked meals in class because we have a demonstration kitchen in the Ted Rogers School of Management. So yeah, I think, yeah, that's how my program would do it.
Okay. For me, I think first the internships and co-ops as well. Those opportunities are there. And then it's also incorporated just throughout the program in classes you take and like extracurricular activities. So for example, this semester I'm taking a class called Emergency Management and Preparedness. And now we're, in light of the COVID-19 situation, we're actually using that in class and, you know, seeing scenarios in which how we can be prepared for public health, how public health can be prepared to respond to emergencies. So yeah, just implementing it in class like that. We've also had like field trips where we've gone to like water treatment plants to like see it. So it's really implemented in the core of the program.
That's really great. Well, I want to say thank you so much both for being here and sharing your experiences with us. I'm sure everybody who is tuning in right now has found it really valuable. So I am just going to hand the rest of the presentation over to Sam now.
Okay.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Cheryl, if you don't mind just flipping the slideshow over one more. Perfect. So yeah, thank you so much to Cheryl, Kirsten, Emma, Valerie, and Salome for all your amazing presentations and your insight. It's so valuable. We are now going to shut down our audio and video, meaning you won't see or hear us, but we'll still be online until the end of the hour to answer any questions you may have. So feel free to submit any questions you have until the end of the hour. We've just got about 15 minutes, so keep those questions coming and we'd love to answer them. This is also a reminder that you'll be receiving a recorded copy of this webinar with audio transcript, but not a copy of the Q&A. So please do make note of any answers to your questions that you've received before the webinar ends, so you have those answers to your questions. On behalf of Ryerson University, thank you once again for joining us, and we hope you and your loved ones are staying safe. We look forward to keeping in touch. Thank you.